All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. Today's topic is heart health. But before we get started, just a couple of those normal items to take care of. We will have time for questions at the end of the presentation, and you can type those in by clicking that Q&A section in the lower part of your control panel. We'll be posting a recording of the webinar on our blog. The link for that will be shown at the end. And if you would like a PDF copy of the presentation, you'll probably want one today because there's a lot of good information. There will be a link to that to download on that same post as the recording. And if your question does not get answered today, please email our support inbox, which will be shown at the end as well. All right, so here's what we'll be chatting about today. First, we're going to cover some facts about heart health. Then we're going to go more into detail as far as what foods, how exercise, how managing stress, and what sleep habits that you can start to create now will help improve or maintain that beautiful heart of yours. So let's get right into it. February is Heart Health Awareness Month, and for good reason. About 655,000 Americans die every year from heart disease. The most common form of heart disease is coronary artery disease. You may also hear it as coronary heart disease or ischemic heart disease. Basically, it's caused by plaque buildup in the walls of the arteries that supply blood to the heart. 18.2 million Americans have coronary artery disease. Some of the main risk factors of heart disease include high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and smoking. Those are the top three, but some other contributors include diabetes, being overweight or obese, having an unhealthy diet, not being active enough, and then drinking too much alcohol. So as most of us know, heart disease is a serious problem, right? There's no doubt about that. But it's also something that really is preventable in a lot of situations, not all of them, but a lot of situations, or we can at least help our cause. So let's talk about some of those lifestyle factors that can help prevent heart disease or help your overall health. All right, I'm going to start with nutrition. I've got a ton of good information here to start incorporating into your diet. Like I mentioned about the slides, there's going to be a lot of info on here, and you're probably going to want to download those. So don't try to write everything down so you get a hand cramp. You'll be able to download those on the blog this afternoon. But first is leafy greens and veggies. Things like spinach, kale, collard greens, broccoli, and cauliflower are great foods to add to your diet. Fiber and vitamin K are some of the benefits that really help the heart specifically. Fiber can help improve cholesterol, blood pressure, and inflammation in our bodies, as well as help control blood sugar levels. Vitamin K in foods plays a role in making blood clotting proteins and possibly helps prevent hardening of those arteries. Smoothies and salads are a great way to get in these types of foods specifically. You can also chop them up and add them to things like casseroles and soups. Next is berries. Blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, and strawberries are the best options when we're talking specifically for heart health. This is because they have antioxidant properties. Antioxidants can slow down or prevent damage to our cells caused by what things are called free radicals. Basically, those are just unstable molecules that the body produces as we process food, and then it also in reaction to environmental factors. And if our body doesn't get rid of them, they can cause issues like heart disease, among other things as well. So these types of berries, when we're talking about how to incorporate them into your diet, eating raw as a snack, but you can also throw them into those smoothies with those leafy greens to get more of that sweet flavor. Good balance there with the greens and the berries if you're talking about smoothies. Avocados are next. This has been a very popular food for a few years now, and for good reason. It's easy to eat. You can throw it on a salad, you can use it as a spread, or you just eat it plain as a filling snack. The heart benefits with avocados include monounsaturated fats and potassium. Monounsaturated fats can help keep your LDL, which is that bad cholesterol, low, and potassium has a role in blood pressure, and it also plays a role in triggering your heart to actually beat. Pretty important when we're talking about heart health, right? Fatty fish is next. Salmon, tuna, sardines, mackerel are options to get in omega-3 fatty acids, which are shown to have great heart benefits. Tuna is an especially convenient choice, in my opinion, because you can buy those ready-made pouches. You don't have to refrigerate them. They actually make salmon pouches now too, and you can keep them at your desk or at home or wherever. Some of our coaches do that specifically for snacks throughout the day. And then you can also throw it on a salad, or again, just eat it plain as a quick, healthy snack. Sardines are one of those foods that kind of has a bad reputation. But again, if you do a quick internet search, you can find ways to use them and sneak them in things. So give it a try. Nuts are our next option. Most nuts are going to be beneficial as long as you don't have a bunch of oils and things that are added along with those. So just read labels, look for, ones that just have those nuts in the label or in the ingredients. We don't want too many added things there. And there are a few specifically that are good for the heart. Walnuts, almonds, cashews, and Brazil nuts have those healthy monounsaturated fats and fiber, which we've already talked about the benefits of. Another benefit of these nuts is magnesium. Magnesium is super important. Every cell in our body needs magnesium, but here's a great way it helps our heart too. A study in the journal called Circulation found that magnesium enabled heart disease patients to exercise longer, and it appeared to protect their hearts from the stress of exercise. When you're talking about someone that already has heart disease, that's pretty amazing. Copper is another benefit in nuts that can help regulate heart rate and blood pressure. And then lastly, manganese. Manganese has antioxidant properties. We've already touched on that. So all good stuff there. Nuts are a really, really good snack. That's probably the easiest way to get it in. Okay, last food on this page, whole grains. This can be a really big topic, but I'm going to try to narrow it down for you. First off, if you're looking at a label with something that says whole grain, make sure that the ingredient list says 100% whole grain or 100% whole wheat. You have to really be careful with grains because there are a lot of ways foods try to trick you. And the reason you need that 100% whole grain is that the heart healthy benefits come from the fact that whole grains include all three parts of the grain: the germ, the endosperm, and the bran. So things like oats, quinoa, rye, and barley are examples of those whole grains. And the main benefit is that fiber. We talked about how fiber can help cholesterol, blood pressure, and inflammation, as well as help control blood sugar levels. And grains are a really big source of fiber. Serving sizes can sometimes get away from us with whole grains. That's one of the concerns there. So just be mindful of that when figuring out how to add these to your diet. Steel cut oats mixed with fruit or some natural peanut butter for breakfast is a good option. Substituting quinoa instead of rice, adding barley to your soups, subbing in some rye flour instead of other flour are just a few ways to get in those types of whole grains. All right, let's keep moving. Beans and legumes, fiber, manganese, copper, and magnesium we already know about, but these have those in there as well. Folate is another benefit of these foods. Folate is the naturally occurring form of vitamin B9, and it can help lower your levels of what is called homocysteine, which has been associated with an increased risk of heart disease. So if we can lower that, that's positive, right? And thiamine or vitamin B1, which helps prevent complications in the heart. These foods are a great source of protein as well, and really just make for a filling addition to your meal. Hummus is a common way to get in chickpeas, and then just adding other beans as sides or to your soups, making burgers. Black bean burgers are delicious in my opinion. But again, those are some other ways to sneak in those healthy options into your weekly plan. Seeds are next. Chia and flax seeds are what I'm going to focus on for heart health specifically. They've got fiber, they've got those omega-3s, those healthy fats in abundance. Easy ways to sneak these in are adding them to things like yogurt, smoothies, like I've already mentioned, and again, casseroles. Use your imagination with this. I'm not going to give you specific recipes today. I'm going to give you some resources on where to find some, but really it's taking what maybe you already eat and seeing if you can just add some of these ingredients as a way just to get started. All right, olive oil. Here again, we have our monounsaturated fats and antioxidants with olive oil. One word that I've said a couple times, but that I should probably be saying more and get more specific is inflammation, especially when it comes to heart health. Inflammation in our body in general is the cause of a lot of conditions and illnesses. It's the body's immune response. That's what inflammation is, but it can be confused by things like sugar or too much sugar in our diet, which can cause that response and cause that increase in inflammation as well, which again can lead to some of these issues, especially with heart. So things like healthy fats and antioxidants in foods like olive oil help to lower that inflammation in our bodies. Olive oil specifically, easy ways to put that in, drizzle it over your veggies, which you can roast in your oven or on the grill. I just did that the other night. Throw in some broccoli, some sweet potatoes, some if you want a protein, throw that in there too. Just throw some olive oil on there, put it in the oven, and you are all set. You can make your own salad dressings with an olive oil base and make it a whole lot healthier than some of those prepackaged ones. I put an easy salad dressing recipe on here. You can add things like herbs, garlic, red pepper, all sorts of other things to your liking, but it's really, really easy to mix up your own salad dressing. Next option is a drink, green tea. This has antioxidant properties, if I can talk, specifically polyphenols and catechins that help protect our body and our heart and can help lower cholesterol. One thing to be aware of with tea is if you choose the caffeinated option, it can temporarily raise our blood pressure. Caffeine does that. So for the average person, that's not a big deal. But if you have blood pressure or heart concerns, just be mindful, and you may want to choose decaffeinated options. There's plenty, especially with green tea. They're right next to each other in the grocery store. You've got the caffeinated or the decaffeinated when you're just doing the plain tea. Okay, last bit on nutrition, pomegranate and citrus fruits. Things like lemon, orange, grapefruit. These foods have those antioxidants, and they also have vitamin C, which most of us have heard of. Vitamin C helps our heart specifically by helping blood vessels to relax, and it can help keep our arteries flexible. So again, just another kind of great snack idea are these citrus fruits and pomegranate. I add lemon to my green tea actually as well. So another way you can get that in. A couple things to add to your foods or recipes is next. Garlic is the first one. Garlic can help blood pressure and cholesterol in some people and also contains those antioxidants. Allicin is the compound produced when garlic is crushed or chopped and is thought to be the key component for the health benefits of garlic. And as most of us know, it's easily added to flavor up any dish. So throw some in your soups, your casseroles, your burgers, your chicken, anything really can benefit with some garlic. Turmeric or turmeric, however you want to say it, is next. This is a spice that has been shown to have many of those anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties. It's most commonly found in things like curry and other Indian foods, but has really become more popular in the US a lot due to those health benefits. A couple ways to use this. People add it to their eggs. You can toss it in with those veggies. If you've got some olive oil that you're tossing in, toss in a little bit of turmeric. Use it like a spice. Add it to soups or even those smoothies. Think outside the box again. One thing to keep in mind with turmeric is that to get the benefits of it, you should actually pair it with black pepper. This makes it more bioavailable, meaning that your body can actually absorb and use it better. Some people actually add black pepper to their jar of turmeric when they get it. The suggestion is to add about half of a teaspoon of ground pepper to every fourth of a cup of turmeric you have. So just something to keep in mind there. Again, we want our body to use these things. So if we can help it out a little better, we should do that. Okay, how about wine? We've all probably heard A glass of red wine is good for the heart, right? The reasoning behind this is that wine contains resveratrol, which is a polyphenol and an antioxidant. Now, this is in the skin of grapes, which is why red wine specifically, is thought to be more beneficial since it's made with the skins on. But actually, eating grapes may give you similar benefits. So that's one way to go instead. The key point with wine is that, yes, there may be something to drinking 1 glass per day, but similar to those whole grains and things, a lot of people don't stop at that recommended amount. And more than that amount actually reverses the effects and puts you at risk for the negatives. It can affect things like your triglycerides and actually lead to more heart issues, which is, again, that's the opposite of what we want, right? So the recommendation is that if you already drink red wine in the recommended amounts, you may be getting some benefits, but don't start drinking it just for those reasons. There are plenty of other things to add to your diet that I have just shown you today that will give you similar, if not better, benefits than wine. So sorry if you guys are mad at me now, but we'll move on. You might get more mad at me now. And then we have the dark chocolate question. Dark chocolate specifically can have heart benefits. It does contain an antioxidant, but similar to wine, there are some major caveats to this. You have to get at least 70% cocoa of your chocolate, which most people don't find super tasty. It's a lot more bitter than milk chocolate. And you should also limit the amount you eat, probably not more than an ounce or so per day, which isn't very much, first of all. And it doesn't give you that much, doesn't give you nearly as many benefits overall as eating some of the other foods I mentioned today. So again, don't be mad at me, but dark chocolate, while it's kind of touted, it's not, you can certainly do it in that moderation. If you get that 70%, you may get some benefits, but it's not necessarily all it's cracked up to be. And then before I move on, just a quick note on supplements. In some cases, these can give you similar benefits of foods. But there are so many things to think about with supplements, like the quality, like its bioavailability, which I already talked about, which can be very different than food sources of some of these beneficial things. So talk with your doctor if you feel like you need a supplement. Otherwise, try to focus on the foods that contain those heart healthy things. You'll typically get other benefits and not just the heart health benefits as well. Okay, before I move on, don't say you don't know what to eat. I just gave you a lot of options and a lot of ways to incorporate them into your diet, right? And this isn't the entire list either. So keep doing your own research on heart healthy foods as well. If you're still feeling stuck on some recipes, one great way to find options is to use websites like Supercook. Basically, you can put in the ingredients that you have on hand, and it will help you find recipes. Again, this isn't the only option out there, but something similar like that, or again, just doing that initial work will help you in the long run. You can create 2 or 3 weeks of recipes, and you're good to go forever. But again, do some research, talk to your doctor, see what else you can add to your diet to help your heart. And then moving on, exercise. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time. I'm going to spend some time here, but most people understand the benefits of exercise on our heart. But just to kind of summarize, our heart is a muscle like anything else. You need to work those muscles to get stronger, right? Just like you would your bicep, your heart is similar. So I'm going to break it down into 3 typical exercise categories. First is aerobic or cardio. This is simply increasing your heart rate. Aerobic exercise improves your circulation, which helps lower your blood pressure. It also helps increase your cardiac output, which is how efficient your heart pumps. More blood means more oxygen to the body and the muscles. It also helps control blood sugar levels, which we now know is correlated with heart disease. So how much exercise do you need for heart health? 150 minutes of moderate activity each week is the recommendation. Moderate means things like brisk walking, running, swimming, cycling, sports like basketball and tennis, Zumba classes, exercise classes like that, just to name a few. And then just remember those 150 minutes they can be broken up into what is convenient for you. It doesn't have to be all at once. 5 or 10-minute increments still count if you're getting that heart rate up. All right, so we know cardio is great for the heart, but how does strength training or resistance training help? Resistance training is anything that adds resistance to movement. The best way that strength training helps our heart is that it helps with our body composition. It can help add lean mass while lowering body fat, specifically around the waist, which is an indicator of heart health. Some research shows that a combination of aerobic and strength training can help HDL, which is that healthy cholesterol, and LDL, which I already mentioned as the bad cholesterol, can help those levels. So how much do you need for heart health benefits of strength training? A minimum of 2 days per week is a recommendation. This can be before or after your cardio session, or you can combine them. There's lots of different exercise classes and programs out there that combine your cardio and your strength. And you don't need a lot of time for strength. All you have to do is hit exercises for all of those major muscle groups. Some people like to split up upper body and lower bodies on different days. That's totally fine. But again, different options, dumbbells, hand weights, soup cans, whatever makes you have to work harder against that gravity is strength training or resistance training. Resistance bands, like the ones on here, are a really good portable option as well. Or you don't even need anything else. You can use your own body, push-ups, squats, pull-ups, all use your own body weight to increase that resistance to your muscles. And then last part of exercise is flexibility, stretching, balance, also known as those as well. Directly, these types of activities can be great for stress management, which helps with blood pressure and the fight or flight response that I'm going to talk about here in just a second with stress. Indirectly, these workouts help us stay flexible. They help keep our joints moving and free from pain. They help prevent cramps and other issues that can prevent us from doing other exercises like that cardio and strength. So as far as how often you should stretch and work on balance, really every day if possible. And for sure, along with your regular exercise. Stretching after your workout can help prevent soreness, which can be a big mental barrier to continuing to exercise regularly, right? Examples of specific workouts that focus on flexibility and balance are things like yoga and Tai Chi. Otherwise, you can just do a total body stretch with your workouts, making sure you're hitting all of those major muscle groups again. And as always, with any of these exercises, really consult with your doctor before starting any routine. So just keep that in mind as well. All right, last couple areas here. Stress is the next one. How does stress affect our heart? Well, directly, we get a physical response called fight or flight. I just mentioned that. Any stressful situation causes our body to increase our breathing, increase our heart rate, increase our blood pressure, among other things. Fight or flight is an automatic response. It can be really helpful when we're physically in danger. But what's happened as our lives have evolved and we're not running away from predators is that we get stressed by non-physical things like deadlines at work, like traffic, those types of things. But our body, it physically has the same reaction as if we were running away from a predator. Now, these stressors happen every day to most of us, right? So our body tends to be in a constantly stressed mode, which is terrible for our heart health. And then indirectly, stress causes us to have poor habits too, right? When it comes to eating, exercise, and sleep. When we're stressed, we tend to not make great decisions. So a couple things here now with stress, it's a huge topic as well, but I'm going to give you some options here. But again, do some of your own research. We did a resiliency webinar last month that has some good options as well. So keep that in mind. But one way that you can work on stress is to practice gratitude. It's so easy to focus on the negative, and our brains are hardwired to do that in a sense. But taking time to focus on what we're grateful for can make a huge difference in how we see and react to our stressors. You can take a gratitude walk to focus on things that are positive in your life, or you can do it during your commute in the mornings if you're working outside the home. You can do it before you go to bed, really to help what can turn into a stressful event, think about those things that are stressful, turn into a more useful and valuable time, right? When we're talking about different times of our day. Having a paper or electronic gratitude journal is a physical way to practice gratefulness, but you don't have to. You can just think of those things too. So make it a goal to either think or write down some of those grateful things every single day. And then exercise is great for our heart, as we know, and it can be a fantastic stress reliever as well. So win-win with exercise, physically and mentally. And then breathing, specifically slow, deep breathing. Taking a minute or even 30 seconds to focus on slowing down our breathing will help our body physically calm down and stop that stress response. Meditation goes along with deep breathing and really can't be underestimated when it comes to the value of your mental health. You can simply listen to music and focus on your breathing and just be in the moment. You can also do a guided meditation where someone gives you direction on where to focus your thoughts and can give you a positive message. There's some excellent apps out there. We have a few blog posts ourselves on meditations, and I just referenced our resilience webinar last month, but we actually did a live meditation, so you can watch that recording and check out those other places as well. The last tip I have for stress is creating a stress relief toolbox. It's not complicated. All you want to do is make a list of some healthy ways to relax and de-stress. The list should be decent size and can include sub-lists for work and home and different situations. So simple things like going for a walk, calling a friend, playing with your kids, playing with your pets, listening to music, reading, that deep breathing or meditation, writing in that gratitude journal, whatever it may be that makes your heart happy, right? Strive to do these things every single day, even if you don't feel stress. It's going to help you deal with stress that comes up if you already have those good habits in place. All right, sleep. I know I'm only leaving a couple minutes for this, but man, sleep is huge. A study from a couple years ago showed that those who slept less than 6 hours per night were 27% more likely to have subclinical atherosclerosis, which is early stage hardening and narrowing of our arteries that can lead to that coronary artery disease like we talked about. Also, those that slept less than 7 hours per night had an increased risk for heart disease, regardless of age, weight, smoking, and exercise status. So no matter what you did outside of that, people that slept less than 7 hours per night had an increased risk for heart disease. So 7 to 9 hours is the recommended amount. And then different tips that you can do: create a routine. If you can, try to go to sleep and wake up at the same time every day. I know this isn't possible for everyone. So if you can't do that, have a similar routine before you go to bed, and then you can maybe shift that time that you go to bed and still be able to relax and get to bed more quickly. And then things like having a good mattress, pillows, and sheets, having that temperature between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit is recommended, making sure that noise is down as much as we can, or using earplugs or white noise machines or fans to help drown out that noise. And then light, as dark as possible if you can, blackout curtains, eye masks, and then light from technology, TVs, computers, phones. If you can keep it an hour before you go to bed, that technology off, that is ideal, because that's going to help not mess with the production of melatonin, which is a hormone that helps us sleep. So again, that's the dream goal. I understand that that's not necessarily realistic for everyone either. So just do what you can, turn it off as far ahead of bedtime as you can. Okay, I'm running out of time. I threw a lot at you today, but bottom line, our heart health is something we need to be thinking about every day. So taking some of the tips, doesn't have to be all of them, one or two, or whatever's realistic for you to start creating healthy routines, will help your heart stay healthy for a long, long time. All right, healthy eating for beginners, we're going to talk about next month. And then after that is getting active with me. You're going to get to watch me do some exercise. So we'll see how that goes. And then if you do have lifestyle rewards, here are the questions that will pop up. Again, most companies do not make you answer questions to submit for lifestyle rewards. But if they do, these are the questions that are going to pop up for you. Pretty easy, hopefully, for you. And then here's our contact information. We're on all the social media places, and then our blog. That's the big thing here. You can watch this webinar. You can download the slides from our blog. You can register for upcoming webinars and watch anything from our past. And then contact a health coach. Give us a call, shoot us an email. We would be more than happy to chat about anything that you want to health related.